Enough
the
about
Meisner technique.
All right, ladies and gentlemen and others, welcome back to Articulate, and let's welcome Maeve Hennessey. How you doing, Maeve?
I'm good. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're recording that on Halloween.
Yeah.
I'm over it. I'm done with Halloween.
Yeah, I mean, like, generally, like, or just this year you're over it.
Just this year. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
because like it was the weekend.
Oh, true.
Today's Monday,
Mm.
and we're drinking White Claws.
Yeah, we're cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, I feel like I went to a party over the weekend, and then I dressed up. I dressed up for JJ's, and no one else dressed up except me, Pete, Sam Wolf, and Jared.
Andrew dressed up too.
Oh, true.
De Piscali, but
True.
yeah.
But yeah, we dressed up on Thursday, and we were the pack of people who did.
A pack of nerds.
Yeah,
Who
nerds.
still dress up for Halloween.
Of course.
No. More people should have dressed up, but I was coming from somewhere else and I didn't want to.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even know if I was gonna be there that night, but I was. It's fine. Yeah. Anyways, Halloween, I'm over it. But the thing is, I'm not really over it because I still dressed up for this.
Yeah, I mean,
Because we are talking about the Arctic Monkeys.
the Arctic Monkeys.
And I wanted to go full in. If I had hair, I would look so much like Alex Turner right now.
Yeah, honestly, the whole fit is you know what I like about this fit is that it's a Halloween costume that, like, once you say what it is, it's like, oh yeah, that is a costume, but also it's a functional costume.
Right.
Where, like, you can go about your day in this.
Kind of like that.
Yeah, I mean, I was wearing this without the hat. And then
Right.
the hat kind of tied it all together.
Right.
But I'm a big fan of Halloween costumes that could just be normal outfits.
Yeah. It's eccentric.
Yeah, it's fun. It's
stylish.
Also, it's a little secret that you have.
A little secret. I know what I'm dressed as.
No one knows that I'm wearing a costume.
Right.
Hee.
Hee. But we are here to talk about the Arctic Monkeys because they are an amazing album that just came. An amazing artist that just came out with an amazing album, in my opinion. But when did you get into the Arctic Monkeys?
So, I specifically remember when I first heard an Arctic Monkeys song, which was basically all of my music taste is either from my dad,
right,
or from sharing a room with my sister for like 15 years of my life.
Yeah.
And we shared a CD player in my room, and she would either get like mixed CDs from her friends, or there was stuff on her iPod that I didn't know but she had. And one day she like put her iPod on the little CD player dock thing, and I think it was either Dancing Shoes or Bet You Look Good on the Dance Floor.
Oh yeah.
That played. And then from there I snuck into her iTunes library and downloaded her things onto my iPod.
Okay.
And then I had like 4 songs from whatever people say I am, that's what I'm not.
Wow, you really remember
on my iPod. I know. I don't have like any distinct memories except for like music associated memories.
Yeah.
And I remember that very vividly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
4
so
of them. You were like, I had 4 songs from this album. That's crazy.
And they were all on my iPod Nano, which I listened to on the school bus.
Yeah.
So that was my Arctic Monkeys origin story.
Nice.
What was yours?
My Arctic Monkeys origin story started as any other origin villain story.
This is my Joker story.
With a girl.
Oh, boy.
Yep. I know. Terrible. Yeah, but I had no music taste besides. It was kind of like the same with me, but like dad music, except my other alternative was dad music and then like pop music. Like radio music.
Yeah.
For a while. For the longest time. And and then I met a girl in 8th grade. She was cool.
Mine was also in 8th grade.
Really?
Yeah, this happened to me in 8th grade.
Solid age to come upon this band for sure. Yeah, that's one of the things I wrote for Whatever People Say I Am, That's What I'm Not, is like, it's a banger when you're like going through puberty. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But she actually answered, it was the same as like 2013, so it was when AM was kind of getting big. But she made me a mixtape.
Yep.
Mix CD, and it had #1 Party Anthem on it.
That is
good.
God, we haven't even gotten to AM yet, but that's my favorite song on that album.
It's gotta be the best one.
Unbelievable.
Right? It's just like the way the lyrics just roll off his tongue, and he's just like, you want to talk about like the leather jacket aesthetic too on that one?
Oh yeah, it's huge.
Cigarette, yeah.
What else was on your What else was on your iPod in 8th grade?
My
what were the
iPod?
heavy hitters in 8th grade?
Well, again, so it was like before her, it was like Jay Sean, like Firefly, Firefly, it was just like Lil Wayne, it's just all the good stuff, and then some weird like, I don't know. My dad just he was like, here's an iPod with music on it, and there were like kid-friendly songs that he wanted me to listen to. They weren't necessarily kid-friendly, but it was like Nickelback and like things like that as well. Pretty basic stuff.
Inherited iPod music.
Yeah, but it definitely like opened me up to alternative music a little bit more because he probably likes alternative music a little bit more. I don't know. I've learned my dad. The main ones that he passed down to me were like Jack Johnson and like Bob Marley and like he's like chill dad vibes.
Yeah. Very, very much outdoor concert vibes.
Definitely. Yeah. What about you?
I mean, besides like Arctic Monkeys, 8th grade was a big year for music introductions in general. That's when I started listening to the Front Bottoms.
Oh, that's
which was
Let's
huge.
go hand in hand.
Yeah. It was like the Front Bottoms were 8th grade. And I also started listening to Nirvana in 8th grade.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I listened to Nevermind like almost every day for a good chunk.
Nice.
So it was those, and I also I got really big into like classic rock. I listened to a lot of Led Zeppelin.
Nice. Yeah, that's you like what's the really dad one that you have a tattoo of?
Oh, Steely Dan?
Steely Dan.
Oh, my Steely Dan?
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. No, it's kind of the same thing. I feel like a lot of those bands open you up to a lot more different sounds.
Oh yeah.
And so like along with that mixtape in 8th grade, there got into like Blink-182 and like the Wonder Years and like just some more emo-y bandish types,
And Number One Party Anthem was also on
And
there.
it was a very strange combination.
Sounds like a good mixtape, to be honest.
It really was. Yeah, no, listen. It was a good 8th grade romance, you know what I mean? It was a fun time.
Yeah.
Going to amusement parks, watching fireworks, those like Halloween haunt things. It was a good time. I had a fun time.
That sounds like very teen movie.
Yeah, Perks of Being a Wallflower. That was part of the whole.
Huge.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because that was also the era of that like movie coming out.
The Smiths.
Holy shit.
Yep, it was a whole era.
Wow.
It was a good era. I was a big fan.
Damn. Well, also like I associate the Arctic Monkeys so much with the 2013, like Tumblr, black and white picture.
She had like a big Tumblr. Like that was like part of the aesthetic. Was Submarine, the movie that Alex Turner.
Oh man.
Yup. That was like her background was like the photos of them like kissing. God. Yeah. So Arctic Monkeys.
Arctic Monkeys.
The Arctic Monkeys, right. Let me just give a little background. They started and got together in Sheffield around 2002.
Mm-hmm.
They were actually one of the first bands that kind of took not the first bands, but they kind of rode the wave with like the internet, which was pretty cool. Like how they were able to, they kind of circumvented the whole like, game.
Yeah.
Where they just made their own music and they put it online and it got really big. So like that's pretty cool in my opinion. But yeah, Alex Turner, Jamie Cook, Nick O'Malley, Matt Helders, all very sexy men. Matt Helders.
Matt Helders.
Yeah, very sexy man.
Honestly, one of my favorite drummers of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like whatever people say I am, that's what I'm not. Is what made me want to play the drums.
They're so good.
The drums are so good.
So good on that album. So whatever people say I am, that's what I'm not. First album, debut album. I think it was it broke the record after Oasis for the fastest selling, highest selling album in the UK.
Damn. That's insane.
Isn't that insane?
Wow.
Yeah, the internet,
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Wow.
But the album is like busy. You know what I mean? It's so like
there's
loud.
So much happening.
Busy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's great.
It's insane that came out. That came out in 2006.
Yeah, 2006.
That album is, I mean, it's one of my no skips.
Right.
One of my no skip albums.
True.
And the like breakdowns that happen. I mean, I think that the drums are the best part of that album, and I think that it's where the drums are the strongest, and it's not that the drums aren't strong on any other Arctic Monkeys album, but that's that's Matt's land.
Yeah.
That's his big moment.
Yeah, his big reveal.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's very true. And it's like they're so crunchy, like the drum sounds and wet, you know what I mean?
Crunchy
and wet. Yeah.
Mm.
That really makes me want to listen to this.
I love a crunchy hi-hat.
No, but very, very, very like it's all about, and then I don't know how you related to it, but it's all about like women and like drinking and like, you know, just like partying and just like fucking let's riot type.
Dude.
Yeah, Riot Van. Even though that's a quiet song, but that's on the album. You know what I mean?
I think "Still Take You Home" is such a good song, first of all, but the lyrics are so hilarious. It's one of those songs that, like, obviously it is like sexist, but it's like a really funny song where he's just like, "You're dumb as fuck, but I still want to fuck you."
Yes. I think it also exposes
hilarious.
It is, but it also exposes some truth, and it's just like is that the one where she acts like she doesn't know his name? Yeah, surprisingly, you forgot my name, but you know it, and you do it. It's like, listen, all right, yes, he's calling her dumb as fuck, but I'll still take you home. But she's also mean, which is part of the thing too.
Yeah, it's a nice little dance that they're doing of like, we don't like each other,
right?
But we're still gonna fuck.
Yup.
And we know where this is going.
True.
This is. I think that song is really funny, and I think that a lot. I mean. That's what I appreciate. I appreciate a lot of things about the album, but I think it's just a hilarious, lyrically, hilarious album. Like, From the Ritz and the Rubble is so funny.
Is that the one where they're like, arms flying everywhere, balls as well as just something to talk about, a story to tell you. Yeah, I always thought he was saying balls flying everywhere, and I was just like, is this like an orgy thing that he's just like, because that's part of the theme too, is just like, he's like, well, he just wanted a story to tell, you know what I mean? It didn't matter what was happening in it, we just wanted something to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Funny, you want to talk about funny lyrics in that one, in Riot Van. He's like, have you been driving, son? He's like, have you been drinking? You don't look old enough to me. And he's like, I'm sorry, officer. I didn't know there was a certain age you're supposed to be. Because it's like, nobody told him.
No.
Nobody told him, you know?
He's just an innocent little boy.
He's just an innocent little boy. They were just feeding him drinks. I didn't know it was bad.
I also, when I hear early Arctic Monkeys, I think of Skins. Did you watch Skins?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You we had a very similar cultural exposure growing up. Skins was the best, Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sid? Dude, Sid is like sexually huge for my.
He was the grossest one, drinking spoiled milk, dude. Ugh. Disgusting.
That's
disgusting.
I'm not necessarily proud of it. But like when I was a young teen and I was watching Skins, I was like, no, that's the one.
Yeah,
that's the one.
Really?
Yeah, that he was
over
the one.
Chris. I thought Chris was like.
Absolutely.
All right.
Sid was the one who kickstarted. I was like, yeah.
Well, that's a certain aesthetic.
Oh,
for sure.
I know, and oh boy, has it kept going throughout my life. But that was the beginning of like, if you're kind of a softie. With glasses on, I'm probably gonna like you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But that was like the mid 2000s.
Did they have an Arctic Monkeys song on the soundtrack? Because it was one of those, like, Skins is one of those like shows that definitely had a banger of a soundtrack.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was on there. I don't remember one distinctly, but I just like associate the time periods. With each other. And the aesthetics.
The aesthetics for sure, Cassie. Nips. He's like, why do you call her Nips? It's like, you know, talk about sex, like sexist a little bit. It's kind of funny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But it's a show about young people, and young people sometimes are very mean to each other.
Having a cheeky cigarette outside of the club.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely go hand in hand for sure, the aesthetic, definitely.
Yeah.
Along with that, The In-Betweeners, you ever watch that one?
Oh, don't even get me started on The In-Betweeners.
I'm 100% sure there's an Arctic Monkeys song on the In-Betweeners soundtrack.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The In-Betweeners, have you listened to the Maccabees?
No.
They're like...
I've heard of them, though.
not in the same vein as the Arctic Monkeys, but like mid 2000s to early 2010s, like Brit
British
pop rock.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of Maccabee songs in the Inbetweeners, and the Inbetweeners soundtrack also chock full of bangers.
Right. So bringing it back though, right? Both of these shows just about young kids that are just like degenerates a lot of the time.
Yeah.
It's what the album is perfect for. That's like
Doing dumb shit.
hitting that while you're like 15, doing dumb shit. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Mwah.
It also like scratched the itch of the first time I listened to it, I couldn't do dumb shit because I was simply in 8th grade.
Simply in 8th grade, but it's made you want to do dumb shit.
Of course,
right?
it like fueled the fire.
8th grade. That's when you start getting annoyed that you can't drive everywhere and you have to have your parents everywhere because you want to hang out with girls or your friends, and it's just like, or whatever, women, men, whatever. But you want to do shit that your parents aren't supposed to know about, you know? And it's like, can you drop me off here? And then you have to figure out 3 other ways to get another place.
Yeah, and you listen to songs about people being drunk, and at that point, I still was like, I don't know what that means, but I'm vibing with it. Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
Sure.
When'd you start drinking?
When did I start drinking? The first time I got drunk was like 17. 17 or 18, maybe.
Oh, okay.
I smoked weed before I started drinking.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that goes into the degen shit a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
My high school was much more of a weed school than an alcohol school.
Interesting. I don't think I've ever heard that before. That's cool. Yeah, that is cool. So I think it could probably play. Well, even sneaking around to just smoke weed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, in the.
That's my favorite nostalgic like memory. Is like it being cold out and I'm like huddled up by like a tree, smoking weed out of an apple bong or something.
God, the apparatuses, disgusting. Yeah, the apple was a big one.
Yeah, yeah. Did you ever do the beer can?
Oh yeah, the crushed. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Were you grav bong kids?
I mean, I dabbled, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not fully, but yeah, a little bit. Those are too much for me. They were a lot back then.
It was
Dude, those first like 3 times you ever get high, never be the same. You know what I mean?
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first time I ever
Chasing that high for the rest of your life. Addiction, baby.
trying to get back to that state of bliss.
Yeah. Seriously, I felt like a cartoon character walking around, you know?
The first time I ever, the first time I smoked, I didn't get high. But then because that happened, the next 2 times I was like, oh, this shit doesn't work on me.
Yeah.
And then I, smoked a lot.
Ooh.
And got really high, but in a good way. I don't associate it with, a meltdown.
Nice.
It was...
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I knew this girl that one time. It was the first time she smoked, and this guy was at the party that she smoked at, and he was like, she was kind of like freaking out a little bit, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna be stuck like this forever."
No way.
Yeah, he's like, you're gonna be high for the rest of your life.
That's
so
unbelievable.
She was like, yeah, it was bad. It was real bad. Why do people do that?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Terrible.
That's the worst prank.
Yeah, that's a terrible prank.
It's a horrendous prank. Oh my.
Real bad.
God.
But anyways,
yeah,
2006, and then they come out with the EP, whatever people say I am. Wait, no. Then they come out with
No
the
buses?
Who the fuck are the Arctic Monkeys?
Oh, that has no buses?
No buses. He said no buses.
No buses is so classic.
Oh my God, no buses. Whatever people say, or cigarette smoker Fiona, despair in the departure lounge.
Departure lounge.
Ew.
Wait, so did this EP came out before Submarines?
Yeah.
Okay, because I associate the no buses kind of sound with the Submarine sound.
I could see it. That No Buses is definitely more of a mature one for where it came out in their sound. Because the other one, like Cigarette Smoker, or like Who the Fuck Are the Arctic Monkeys, you know what I mean? But yeah, No Buses definitely has some more mature themes in it for sure. It's a great song. Yeah. The whole EP. So that's another thing I wanted to mention is that, I don't know, a lot of their albums come out with EPs that usually have 1 or 2 extra bonus songs that are amazing all the time. I was like, why was this not on the album? And then you listen to the album, you're like, well, I get it, but
yeah, what was the weeding out process?
I have no idea.
What the When the Sun Goes Down EP
right?
has 7 on it. Seven's a great song.
Great song.
Great song.
Yeah.
And I want to know because there are the songs on the EP that didn't make it to the album. But then, besides even the EP, there are probably songs that didn't make it anywhere. That still might be great songs.
True.
And they don't like. I've never there isn't an Arctic Monkeys album that has like B-sides or it's just like the album and the EP, and there's no like extended edition.
Right.
So there's songs floating out in the wind.
Just out in the wind.
Well,
That nobody
we'll
will
never
know. Well, and some people just never find, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like you're missing out on so many. Matador, Da Frame, you know what I'm talking about? Anyways, those are from later era, I think. But, so the EP came out. The EP did really fucking well. And they're like, we're like, got all this momentum. We need to do another one real quick. So they did Favorite Worst Nightmare like immediately after 2007.
Oh.
And that album, my friend, he's not a big fan, or it took him a while to get onto it, but that one actually hit better for me first before Whatever People Say I Am. That's what I'm not.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's more conceptual, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's definitely like more cohesive as an album. Like you can listen to it back to front. Actually, that was part of what happened with that album is that like when they released it, all 12 songs, I think it's 12 songs on the album, were in like the top 200 singles in the UK. Yeah.
That's nuts.
Isn't that nutty?
Jesus. When did that album came out? Like 2000?
2007.
2007. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That is a very quick turnaround.
Very quick turnaround. Big fan of that one, especially like it starts out. First of all, my friend and I had to point it out to him. It's called Brainstorm. He was like,
Brainstorm?
it's called Brainstorm, and I'm like, no, that's Brainstorm, and
That's
it's about a man named Brian. But then it's because it starts out really, really hard, quick pace, loud, and then it gets down. That's the beautiful thing about the album is that it's everything that like the Whatever People Say I Am. That's what I'm not. People wanted to hear, plus it gets into like
New paths.
newer paths. 505, of course. What's the other? Only Ones Who Know. Just kind of, Do Me a Favor is actually a sleeper. I think that's like one of my favorites off of that one. Where it like starts out really slow and then gets really, really loud. You know,
It's a good build.
great build.
I didn't really listen to Favorite Worst Nightmare until like as a whole until honestly maybe 2 years ago.
Really?
Because like
See, it's the same thing.
I know. I knew the big singles off of Favorite Worst Nightmare, and then I just kind of went back and was like, you know what? This is the only Arctic Monkeys album that I haven't like actually listened to intensely, and then I did, and it was good. Right. Which no surprises there.
Yeah.
But I really only knew 505 and Fluorescent Adolescent for a while.
Right.
Which
the classic.
The bass line in Fluorescent Adolescent is crazy.
Oh yeah.
It goes crazy. Like what is
Wild stuff.
That song is bonkers.
Yeah, when so I was learning banjo around 2014.
What?
Yeah, yeah. But I brought that song to ask my teacher to learn how to transpose
on the banjo.
And it was one of the first ones where it was like, yo, this song's crazy. And I'm like, right? It's good.
So good.
Yeah.
Wait, when and how and why did you start learning how to play the banjo?
Well, I got in trouble for drugs and weed.
Oh.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
And then they were like, you need to learn an instrument. And I was like, well, I want to learn the drums. And they're like, we're not going to let you learn the drums. And I was like, it would be kind of a funny meme to learn the banjo.
Wouldn't it be funny if I learned how to play the banjo?
Yeah.
If I started plucking along.
So then I just kind of picked it up from there. Not good. Well, I'm all right, but I don't play like a real musician. Like real musicians know like what things sound like and how the chords do the whole thing. And I just was like, anyway, here's Wonderwall. You know, like,
do you read music?
No.
Oh, okay.
See,
so you just plucking along
I just
muscle
play the
memory?
Chords,
yeah.
And I know chords. That's pretty much it. Terrible. People hate me for it.
Do you still own a banjo?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I could play it for you at some point. I'm not gonna pull it out here on the podcast.
Banjo on the pod.
I forgot for Whatever People Say I Am. That's what I'm not. Adam Sandler looking ass like dude on the front. There's actually a story where they tried to do like a photo shoot with that man where he's supposed to look like he's been at a night out because that's what the whole album's about. And they couldn't get it. But then they were like, all right, just go have a fun night out. Just completely forget about it. And we're going to call you sometime, through the night. and you got to come in for it. And he's like, all right, fuck it. And so they literally came in hungover as fuck, and he wasn't even supposed to be smoking a cigarette, but he asked him if he could.
Nice.
And they're like, yeah, let's fucking do it.
Fuck
so,
yeah.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
How old was the band when they put out whatever people say I am?
Definitely early 20s.
Yeah, because I am still astonished at how incredible they all look, and they must be in their late 40s now, early 40s,
late 30s.
Late 30s.
Yeah, late 30s.
My concept of time is unbelievable.
Right. Yeah. They are seriously like the talent and just like the sexiness and it's insane. Well, that's what I want to get to is like I want to get to the new album, but we got so much to get through.
I know, goddamn.
All right, Humbug.
Okay. This is
2009 Humbug.
This is what I have been looking forward to.
You've been waiting for it.
Because I am a humbug defender through and through. Humbug defender.
Gotta love one of those.
Because whatever people say I am, that's my favorite. That's my favorite of all time from the Arctic Monkeys. But Humbug is up there.
Right.
And there are like Secret Door and Crying Lightning.
When I heard Secret Door for the first time, I was like, I've definitely heard this before. But obviously I hadn't, but they just played like such like a classic tune. Like it's just such like a good song that it's like you know this song and you're gonna know this song for forever. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And like the end of Secret Door is so good. And there's like backing vocals and harmonies in some songs. It gets Humbug is like it's like a complicated turn for some songs.
It's a very divisive album, that's why you had to state.
That's why I'm saying I'm a Humbug defender.
Defender, yeah. And I was kind of like, it wasn't my favorite when I first listened to it. I'll say that. Oh God.
Hand on the mic. Oh no.
But yeah, no, it was definitely when I first listened to it, because it's definitely where they're like, all right, we've basically done 2 rock albums at this point. We still have that hard sound, like we still are like the Arctic Monkeys, of course, but let's do like a little spooky, fun, romantic, but also scary thing. You know what I mean? EP for that one, Frightline Dining Room, my fucking favorite song. But and then like Crying I don't know if they went into it like trying to be scary.
No.
But it came off very scary.
And it ended up that way.
Yeah.
Also, and Dangerous Animals.
Dangerous Animals. Yeah. The drums. You want to talk about the drums you were like, I don't know if the peak was whatever people say I am. That's what I'm not. Because I think the drums, they're more contained at parts, but they're also, I think, on Humbug, because they're contained at certain parts, the explosiveness later.
Yeah.
Also, what came first, the chicken or the dickhead? You know what I mean?
Classic. I feel like each album has a drums moment that really stands out to me. Like on Favorite Worst Nightmare, the drums in House is a Circus is it's insane. It makes me freak out. But yes, I mean, I think I just said that the drums on Whatever People Say I Am was my favorite because that's what made me want to like play them.
Okay.
That was the big album where I was
of a nostalgia favorite.
Oh yeah.
Like, you think maybe Humbug is like the best drums? I don't know.
No, I mean maybe. I don't know. It's hard because they like as we'll get into later. They get into like a different sound or different style and a different pace that is different, but you can't say like if one is necessarily better because it's just completely different. Right.
Yeah. It's very. It just accentuates different parts of their talent, and I think these ones they kind of let loose on Humbug and Whatever People Say I Am. That's what I'm not a little bit, and it's awesome.
Humbug is nuts.
Humbug is nuts. Great one. Then it goes into this era where Alex Turner goes off and does the Last Shadow Puppets project, which I love, with Miles Kane. And they pick up 2 people who are like, they're kind of like storytellers. I forget what the term was, but they're kind of, they add a little bit more of a full sound. And you can tell that Alex was very, very like influenced by what he did.
Yeah.
And this is where then Suckin' and Sea Era comes out, as well as Submarine, same year. Submarine soundtrack.
Wow.
Yeah.
Same year.
Same
That's
year.
Nuts.
First solo project and Suckin' and Sea. Again, like, top album. All of their albums have been top albums of the UK when they came out. But Suckin' and Sea, I never really was a big fan of, to be honest with you. It kind of just blends together to me. There's like Brick by Brick, which is the meme song.
Brick by Brick.
Hellcat Spangled Shalalala.
And That's Where You're Wrong. I love that song.
Really?
One of the things I was thinking about today when I was thinking about the Arctic Monkeys was that they know how to close an album.
Oh, yeah.
Every last song on an Arctic Monkeys album is like one of the best songs on the album.
Yeah.
And they always kick it off, or not kick it off, I guess close it out with a bang.
Right. Yeah.
Because like when I was looking at the track list, I was like,
A Certain
wow.
Romance.
Oh.
Yo.
Oh.
What's
that song is insane.
Favorite Worst Nightmares 505. Humbug is
Not
Cornerstone?
no I think Cornerstone's in the middle of the album.
Oh, okay. Jeweler's Hand?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's Jeweler's
That's a good one
Hands.
too.
Yeah.
That's a banger of a closer.
And then it's That's Where You're Wrong.
That's Where You're Wrong.
Yeah.
It's kind of a ballad, you know what I mean? It's a good ballad. But like I said, I'm not the biggest fan, so if you want to, I mean, it's a good song.
Yeah,
I feel like they kind of just blend together.
I
at
think
that
it's a
point for me.
highlight of that album, that song.
Fair. Yeah, it's
But
fair.
I also agree that album doesn't pop for me.
Yeah, I mean, it came out the same year as the solo project, and Piledriver Waltz is on both, and I like Alex's solo version better of Piledriver Waltz, and I think that project as a whole is just a lot more, you know. And again, this is kind of the period where he was off doing his own thing.
Yeah.
So I think it definitely was accentuated by that album. And then Suckin' and Sea was them still trying to be like, all right, I guess we're still doing this thing together, you know? I guess, yeah, and it just felt bland, but I know some people that's their favorite album by them, you know, so.
That was another album that I didn't really listen to until like maybe a year and a half ago.
Right.
Because like I had my core Arctic Monkeys albums that I would always listen to and come back to, and then eventually I was like, yeah, maybe I should listen to the whole discography.
Yeah.
Maybe I've been listening to this band since I was 13. Maybe I should actually dive in more than I have.
Yeah, really getting into them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then, at some point it's like, all right, I respect this band enough to be like, all right, anything they put out, it plays into the whole, you know, story.
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess. So yeah, Suckin' and Sea. I think this is kind of a lot of where the departure from their like raw, hard sound started as well. Because again, those other projects and like you know, that album in itself being not as accentuating drums or really like, I mean, Brick by Brick is kind of hard, but not really, you know.
Yeah. I also like I feel like there is this like realm of like kind of British pop rock that is in a similar genre of like going out to get drunk and see the ladies and smoke cigarettes. And then they started to break out of talking about that constantly in songs.
True. Yeah, and I guess this is kind of where. So with that is like part of the maturity of the Arctic Monkeys starts coming in a little bit, and they start to. I mean, you know, they're not in their young 20s anymore, you know? So it's like, all right, now, I feel like that's part of life, you know what I mean? Your young 20s is like, oh, I'm out in the world having fun, doing whatever, fucking bitches, drinking, you know, whatever.
Well, that's what's fucking, what really is crazy about listening to them throughout a pretty good chunk of my life is that when I started listening to them, I couldn't do anything. And I am still listening to them, but like now I am the age that they're talking about in their songs.
Right.
Which is really weird.
Yup.
Because I'm like, it's weird to have started so young and now I'm like, oh, now I'm drinking beer and smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, this is where we're at.
Yeah, that's weird.
Definitely. And that's what is so great about it though too, because it's like, oh, now I can re-listen to this with like a different understanding, and really just like dive into it a little bit more.
And I can be like, so true.
So true. Anyways, which is why I'm actually interested to get farther down in their discography as well. But after that was 2011, 2013, baby. AM, baby.
We know.
AM, baby.
We know what happens.
We know what happens in 2013. AM. Do I want to know?
Yeah, goddamn. Oh, I have another very specific memory.
Yes,
Very
ma'am.
specific. So, this album came out, and I was taking exams in the winter.
Yeah.
Because I believe it came out in January.
Right.
And I was waiting for the bus, like not the school bus, but like the city proper bus. And it was freezing, and I had underdressed because I would always do that. And my mom would always be like, Maeve, you're going to be cold. And I'd be like, I don't care.
Because you were too cool for that.
I know, but then I literally would be too cool because I would freeze my ass off.
True.
And I was waiting at the bus stop. I was waiting at the bus stop, underdressed, listening to AM for the first time while the bus was 20 to 30 minutes off schedule. And I was just standing in the intense howling wind and frigid cold. And I remember like curling my toes so intensely and trying to block myself from the freezing, whipping wind. And listening to Arabella.
Yeah.
Banger. And that was the only good part of that whole experience of sitting at a cold
like,
bus
God
stop.
damn, this song fucking.
God damn, this song goes.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking cold, but this is really good.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. At least you got that silver lining.
Yeah, I have that
Part of
very
it.
specific memory.
Yeah.
I think I was coming from an English exam,
Yeah.
if I recall.
An English exam. See, it's a very like nostalgic album, I think, as well, with Number One Party. Like, there's so many specific memories of like just driving down like this one certain road past like Dairy Queen while like Mad Sounds is on.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, damn.
Bow, wow, wow.
Yeah, so good.
Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
Ohio.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, you look more like an Ohioan right now than I look like an Ohioan. AM, also the leather jacket
era.
phase. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's where I think a lot of their mainstream. I think this is really when they became really big in the U.S. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Because "Do I Want to Know" was almost like a commercial song where they like had it on the back of like a Honda. Yeah, something
Also,
like that.
incredible music video.
Which one is that?
It's the one with like the line that like.
Oh yeah, that like dances around.
Yeah.
True. They definitely put a lot of marketing into this one as well. They probably knew it was gonna be big.
Oh,
you know.
yeah.
Well, it's the Arctic Monkeys. You know what I mean? And it's
The
like
AM.
new sound that sounds fucking banger. Still a lot of guitars. You know what I mean? But a lot more balanced.
Yeah.
Where very very loud and soft, and the lyrics are very prominent. A lot more about love, I would say. But in a more mature way where it's not like, let's go out, fuck a bunch of women and get drunk or whatever. In a way where it's like, I have these fucking feelings for you, dog.
Dude, I was going to say this, it gets sad.
It gets sad.
I mean, there was like a touch of sadness in other places before, like on Humbug, like Quarterstone, sad
True.
song.
Very sad.
Good song, but sad song. And then this is just like kind of more full tilt sadness.
Yeah.
Also, I hate to interrupt, but I have to pee so bad.
Oh my gosh.
I know, I'm the worst.
That's okay. We'll get back to AM
Yeah,
after a short
momentarily.
break.
After I pee, or else I won't
After
think
a
about.
short word from our sponsor.